For the second half of the banners from the first version since the release of Natlan, Genshin's own adaptation of Spider-Man, Kinich, is finally here. In this video, I will explain all you need to know about him, how to build him, how to play with him, everything. 98% of you are not subscribed, so please don't forget to leave a like and to sub if you like this video. It's totally free, and that way YouTube will know you like my content and will start recommending it more for you and for other people as well. All my links are in the description, just as my Twitch channel for a chance of winning free blessings. And before I forget, for those who want to support me even more, you can always become a member. So without any furthers, let's talk about Kinich's kit.
Shadow the pest, mine to command!
Kinich is a 5-star Dendro Claymore user focused on being a DPS for your teams with the use of his enhanced normal attacks and skills. On his normal attacks, Kinich performs up to 3 attacks. On his charge attack, he consumes a certain amount of stamina to spin and throw his Claymore forward to attack opponents. Finally, a different animation for a Claymore user. And before we move to his skill, Kinich can perform a mid-air attack before landing after using his skill. The damage is basically non-existent, but at least it's cool. When you use his skill, Canopy Hunter riding high, Kinich will attach a grappling hook to the target and enter Night Soul's Blessing with 0 Night Soul points if there is an opponent or object that can be attacked nearby. Kinich Night Soul's Blessing lasts 10 seconds and generates 2 Night Soul points for every second. In this state, when using normal attack, Kinich will fire loop shots as he loops around the grappler target based on his current movement direction, dealing Night Soul aligned Dendro damage and generating 3 Night Soul points. When Night Soul points are at max, he can use the elemental skill Scale Spiker Cannon, consuming all the Night Soul points to deal Night Soul aligned Dendro damage. While in Night Soul's Blessing, after grappling an opponent or firing Scale Spiker Cannon, a blind spot will be generated next to the opponent. When Kinich enters this blind spot, it will disappear and he will generate 4 Night Soul points. If the grapple connection is lost due to exceeding the amount distance or some other reason, using a normal attack will establish a new connection with a nearby opponent before performing loop shots. And both his loop shots and cannon shots are considered skill damage. But what happens if there are no opponents nearby and you accidentally press your skill? If you do that by accident, Kinich fires a grappling hook forward and swings in mid-air, and his skill cooldown is decreased by 60%. This skill can be held to release, and when it's held, Kinich will be able to aim the grappling hook. So, he's not only good for battle, he's also good for exploration. And for last, on his burst, Hail to the Almighty Dragon Lord, Kinich will unleash the power of a Jaw, dealing Night Soul aligned AoE Dendro damage. A Jaw will also unleash his Dragon Breath at intervals, dealing Night Soul aligned AoE Dendro damage, and if Kinich is in the Night Soul's Blessing when this is used, this blessing duration is extended by 1.7 seconds.
Shadow the pest, mine to command!
With his exploration passive, Swift Envoy, Kinich will display the location of nearby resources unique to Natlan on your minimap. Also, while in an area with phlogiston mechanics within Natlan, interacting with some harvestable items will increase your own party members' movement speed by 15% for 10 seconds. With his first Ascension passive, the Price of Desolation, when Kinich is in the Night Soul's Blessing state, opponents hit by his elemental skill will enter the Desolation state, and when affected by Burning or Burgeon reaction damage, they will restore 7 Night Soul points to him. Night Soul points can be gained this way once every 0.8 seconds, and the Desolation state will persist until the instance of Kinich's Night Soul's Blessing state ends. On his second Ascension passive, Flame Spirit Pact, after a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul burst, Kinich will gain 1 stack of Hunter's experience that lasts for 15 seconds with a max of 2 stacks. When Kinich uses his skill Cannon Shot, all stacks of Hunter's experience will be consumed, with each stack consuming increasing the damage dealt by this Cannon Shot by 320% of Kinich's attack. And for last, on his Natlan passive, Night Realm's Gift, repaid in full, when Kinich is in the air following his skill mid-air swing, he can consume 10 Phlogiston points to perform another mid-air swing. Also, while in an area with Phlogiston mechanics within Natlan, he can use the Night Soul Transmission, where Kinich will grapple to a nearby sigil, enemy, or just swinging in the air depending on your environment when your active character is currently sprinting, in a movement mode caused by certain talents, or in the air. And you switch to Kinich when you see his icon turning red. And Night Soul Transmission can be triggered once every 10 seconds by your own team. His talent priorities are the following. Focus on your skill first, because that's where your loop and cannon shots multipliers are, then on your burst for the extra damage, and for less your normal attacks, which you don't need to level up.
Shadow the pest, mine to command!
Now let's talk a bit about Kinich Constellations, for those that wanna turn him into the best friendly neighborhood Spider-Man he can be. On his C1, after Kinich lands from his skill mid-air swing, his movement speed will increase by 30% for 6 seconds. Additionally, Scale Spiker Cannon crit damage is increased by 100%. On EC2, when Kinich elemental skill hits an opponent, it will decrease their Dendro res by 30% for 6 seconds. Additionally, the first skill spiker cannon Kinich fires after entering Night Soul's Blessing has increased AoE and its damage increases by 100%. EC3 will increase the level of his skill by 3, with EC4, when in Night Soul's Blessing, Kinich will restore 5 energy after using his loop shots or after unleashing the skill spiker cannon. Energy can be regenerated this way once every 2.8 seconds. Additionally, his burst deals 70% more damage. EC5 will increase the level of his burst by 3, and for last with EC6, after skill spiker cannon hits an opponent, it will bounce once, dealing 700% of Kinich's attack as Dendro damage. If this skill spiker cannon triggers the buff that is passive or constellation grant to the cannon, the bouncing attack will also obtain the relevant buffs.
Shadow the past. Mine to command.
Now it's time to talk about the best artifact sets that you should farm for your Kinich. Kinich best in slot will be the 4-piece Obsidian Codex, the new set from Netland made for DPS characters. On its 2-piece, this set will provide you a permanent 15% damage bonus while you are on your Night Soul's Blessing and on field, and its 4-piece effect will increase your crit rate by 40% for 6 seconds after you consume 1 Night Soul point while on field. And even though Kinich needs to gain Night Soul points before being able to consume them, this will still be his best option since his cannon shots will always take advantage of the free crit rate. 4-piece and Finishing Reverie is a good replacement while you farm for his best in slot if you have good pieces laying around and if you plan on focusing on playing him with burning teams. Since this set will provide 18% attack on its 2-piece effect, and thanks to its 4-piece effect, your damage will increase until 15% if a burning opponent exists, because otherwise, those 15% damage will reduce by 10% every 6 seconds until it reaches 0%. And if you plan on pairing Kinich with Farina, Morishosi can also be a good replacement while you are farming for his best in slot set, because even though Kinich doesn't care about the 15% normal or charge attack bonus on its 2-piece, he will appreciate those 36% crit rate if you keep losing and gaining HP. And for last, you can always mix and match 2 pieces between the sets that provide attack, Dendro damage, elemental damage, or skill damage.
Shadow the past. Mine to command.
Now that we know the best sets, let's now talk about the best stats you need to be looking for. For the Sense, attack percent. For the Goblet, Dendro damage bonus, and for the Circlet, crits, with a preference on crit damage since he will get 40% from his best in slot set already. For the substats, you should focus on crits, attack, ER, and EM.
Shadow the past. Mine to command.
For Kinich weapons, his best in slot will be his signature Fang of the Mountain King. His weapon will only provide a small amount of crit rate on his substat, but it will give you a massive amount of base attack to compensate for that. And its passive will provide you stacks that will increase your skill and burst damage by 10% during 6 seconds for every opponent hit by the skill or after triggering Burning or Burgeon, up to a max of 6 stacks, meaning that if you max its stacks, you will get a 60% increased damage on your skill and burst. His second best option will be Dia's signature weapon, Beacon of the Reed Sea. It will provide a good amount of crit rate on its passive, already allowing you to ignore crit rate on your substats, and its passive will increase your attack by 20% for 8 seconds when you hit opponents with your skill and another 20% when you take damage, something that may happen due to his playstyle resolving around burning. Additionally, your max HP will also increase by 32% if you are not under the protection of a shield. Another 5-star options you can use are Veridic, Redhorn, or Wolves, but they end up performing worse than the Beacon or even some 4-stars sometimes. Talking about 4-star weapons, his best in slot 4-star weapon will be the Battle Pass Claymore Serpent Spine, providing a good amount of crit rate on its subset, and its passive increasing the damage dealt by 6% and taken by 3% for every 4 seconds on the field, up to a max of 5 stacks. And if you end up refining this weapon, it will further increase the damage dealt and decrease the damage taken. And for last, his best F2P weapon will be the new craftable of Netland, Earthshaker, which will provide a good amount of attack on its substat, and throughout its passive, your skill damage is increased by 16% for 8 seconds after triggering any reaction related to Pyro. And since this is a craftable weapon, you can R5 it relatively easy just by farming the game.
Shadow the past. Mine to command.
For Kinich teams, as we already realized, he will be an on-field DPS focusing on the Burning or Burgeon to attack more frequently, but that doesn't mean he can only be played there. So here are some options. For a Burning team, pair him with Emily, Xiangling, Toma or Dia, and Bennett. For a Burgeon team, pair him with Farina, Yellen or Qinkyu, Xiangling, Toma or Dia, and Bennett. For a Hyperbloom team, pair him with Farina, Yellen or Qinkyu, Nahida or Yao Yao, and Raiden. For a Spread team, pair him with Fischl, Yaemiko, and Baiju, and for a F2P team, pair him with Yao Yao, Xiangling, and Bennett. Just a reminder that we are still on the beginning of Netland, so I do believe that as more characters get added, Kinich performance will also be better, so don't limit yourself into only using these teams. Feel free to experiment and have fun with the characters you want to use. And if you have any questions about who to use to replace characters you don't have, feel free to ask me in the comments. Now, stay with a little bit of testing I did on Kinich on this most recent abyss.
Shadow the past. Mind to command.
Okay.
Let's light it up. Going in. Look alive. A little ambiance.
Locked up.
Bow before your king. The dead
Your coming was foretold.
You asked for
Bloom
it.
as a flowers in Gurabad.
Where is your damage, Dia?
Buckle up. Extract. Teamwork is dreamwork.
Shadow the past. Mind to command. Target acquired.
The eternal lasers of long last.
Why do they never
Oh my
miss?
god.
Everybody stand. Ha. Neutralize.
Locked up.
Sacrificial Dia? That's actually a good call. My Kinich has 23k HP.
Let's get it on. Extract.
I got him cornered.
Bow before your king. Submit your soul in sacrifice. Forever hold.
Okay, I don't need to take, like, hurry up.
Everybody stand. Look alive. Neutralize.
Locked up.
Okay, now run away. Run away, you're gonna die. Run away, you're gonna die. And I think you are going to run away again, so
Target acquired. For the Lord of the Night.
Glory to which none can compare.
okay.
Measly insects.
Did they change the other boss too? I'm assuming not.
Buckle up. Hi. This'll brighten up the place.
Locked up.
I'm going in. Let's light it up.
Holy shit. Let me see how much damage you do. Amazing, Dia. Amazing. You are a contribution to this team.
Reconstitute.
I got him cornered.
Nah, bro. You must be joking with my face.
Oh, glory. A little ambiance. Measly insects. Let's get it on.
Locked up.
Okay. That's Kinich for you all.
Shadow the past. Mind to command.
So what's your opinion about Kinich? Do you think he's a good friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? After this guide, I hope you have a more understanding on how to build and play with him. If you like my content, don't forget to leave your sub and to like this video. Your support would be amazing. 98% of you are not subscribed, so press that subscribe button and come join this community. A special thanks to my members for trying to support me even more, and thank you so much for staying until the end. Don't forget to check my links on the description, such as my Twitch channel for a chance of winning free blessings, and to also see me pull and test future units. Stay safe, have a good one, and good luck on your pulls.